Ladies and gentlemen, who's going to start bidding for this package of a cleaning lady and her daughter? As Lily's brother Bradley's cruel words hung in the air, the ballroom fell silent. Lily Parker stared at the snowflakes drifting past the window as she shivered against the biting cold. The high-rise office building where she worked as a cleaner stood as a symbol of wealth she couldn't access. Lily wiped the glass partition, still spotless from her earlier cleaning, thinking anxiously about the time. Her daughter Emma would soon be waiting after school. "Lily, you can clock out now. Emma's school lets out soon, right?" Florence, the cleaning company manager, smiled warmly. She always understood Lily's challenges as a single mother. "Thanks, Florence. I can't begin to tell you how much that means," Lily said gratefully as she packed away her cleaning supplies. The exhaustion in her eyes was impossible to hide. Raising a 10-year-old daughter alone while working as a cleaner was a daily struggle. Despite these hardships, their modest life overflowed with genuine love. Walking back to her aging apartment building, Lily checked the mailbox. Among the bills was an elegant cream envelope addressed to her. Inside was an invitation printed in gold lettering on thick paper. "You and Emma are cordially invited to the wedding of Bradley Parker and Sophia Bradford." Lily's heart sank. Her brother Bradley was getting married. With his MBA and banking career, he'd become engaged to Sophia Bradford, daughter of a prominent real estate tycoon. Clutching the invitation, Lily climbed the stairs to her apartment, emotions churning inside her. "Mom." When she opened the door, Emma jumped up from her science homework and raced to hug her. Her daughter's bright smile instantly melted away Lily's weariness. "How was your day? Learn anything cool at school?" Lily asked, holding her daughter close. "Yes, I got the highest score on our science project." Emma beamed with pride. While cooking dinner, Lily contemplated the invitation. Since her father Michael had died from a heart attack years ago, she'd been gradually pushed out by her mother, Helen, and brother. Helen had always favored Bradley while treating Lily with cold indifference. Only her father had truly supported her, and now he was gone. Lily doubted whether attending the wedding was worth the inevitable pain. Everything changed when Emma discovered the invitation during dinner. "Uncle Bradley's wedding. Can we please go?" Emma exclaimed, eyes sparkling with excitement. To her, this was a magical opportunity. Lily smiled despite the anxiety gnawing at her insides. How would her mother and brother treat them at such a high society gathering? They had always been the family's outcasts. That night, after Emma had gone to bed, Lily sat on her worn living room couch and opened an old photo album, tracing the images of moments shared with her father. Tears silently rolled down her cheeks. Michael Parker might have seemed like a tough real estate executive to others, but with Lily, he'd always been gentle and supportive of her choices. Since his death, Lily felt like she'd lost her only ally in the family. Her sense of belonging completely evaporated. The next morning, Lily called her brother Bradley. "Thanks for the invitation. Emma and I will be there," she said, her voice steady despite her nervousness. On the other end, Bradley replied with barely disguised surprise. "Oh, you're actually coming? That's nice. Mother will be thrilled, I'm sure." Detecting the fakeness in his tone, Lily pressed on. "Emma's really excited about it. It is her uncle's wedding after all." "Yes, right. But can you and your daughter manage to find appropriate clothes? Sophia's family members are all quite particular about appearances." The words stung Lily deeply, but she maintained her composure. "Don't worry, we won't make you look bad." After hanging up, Lily stared at the snow falling outside her window. She took a deep breath, resolving to attend this wedding for Emma's sake. On the wedding day, the five-star Regent Plaza Hotel in downtown Chicago glittered with opulent decorations. Pristine white roses intertwined with golden ribbons lined the pathway from the entrance to the Grand Hall, where a deep crimson carpet stretched across the polished marble floor. Lily and Emma emerged from their taxi and stepped into the hotel, their faces tense with anxiety. Lily had broken into her emergency savings to purchase a simple navy blue dress for herself and a pretty floral dress for Emma. Yet standing in the lobby, surrounded by guests in designer gowns and custom tuxedos, their outfits screamed outsider to everyone who glanced their way. Lily's heart pounded as she noticed the doorman's dismissive look when he saw their modest attire. "Mom, why is everyone so fancy?" Emma whispered, her eyes wide with both wonder and intimidation. "They are pretty fancy, aren't they? But remember, we're just as invited as they are." Lily squeezed her hand reassuringly, though her own confidence was paper thin. "Let's walk in with our heads high." When they entered the ceremony venue, an usher directed them to seats in the very back row of the chapel, like hall dripping with luxury. Bradley and Sophia's wedding ceremony unfolded like a scene from a movie. The bride, resplendent in her designer gown that probably cost more than Lily's annual salary, radiated wealth and privilege. After the ceremony, guests flowed into the grand ballroom on the hotel's top floor. The massive space, easily accommodating 300 guests, gleamed with champagne gold accents and crystal decorations. Light cascaded from enormous chandeliers, creating an atmosphere that felt completely detached from Lily's everyday reality. Lily and Emma were escorted to a tiny table at the far corner of the room. A card reading Parker family relatives marked their place, but Helen, Lily's mother, was nowhere to be seen. She sat prominently at the head table, occasionally glancing their way, but never acknowledging them. As servers presented course after course of exquisite food, Emma's eyes lit up with delight at each new dish. Despite the knot of tension in Lily's stomach, seeing her daughter's excitement brought her a moment of joy. Several times she caught her mother looking in their direction, but she always quickly averted her gaze as if ashamed of their presence. After the lavish meal and the ceremonial cutting of the towering wedding cake, the master of ceremonies rose to his feet. "Ladies and gentlemen, the bride and groom have prepared special entertainment for your pleasure." The music swelled as the ballroom lights dimmed. Without warning, a harsh spotlight blazed down on their small corner table. They squinted up in confusion and shock. Bradley, looking immaculate in his designer tuxedo, approached from the central stage, microphone in hand, and a wide smile plastered across his face. But Lily's stomach twisted as she recognized the malicious glint in his eyes she'd seen that look too many times before. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us on this momentous occasion," Bradley announced with false warmth dripping from every word. "But we have one more special treat today. Allow me to introduce my sister Lily and her daughter Emma." Every eye in the ballroom swiveled toward their table. Emma shrank into her seat, her small hand gripping mine with frightened intensity. "As you can see, my dear sister works as a cleaning lady, and her daughter my adorable niece, well, they exist in quite a different reality than the rest of us." Bradley's cruel words triggered ripples of laughter throughout the room. Lily sat paralyzed, her face a mask hiding the storm of emotions within. The familiar pattern was unfolding exactly as she had feared. "Since tonight is all about new beginnings, I thought we'd host a special clearance sale," Bradley announced with theatrical flair. "This cleaning lady and her daughter as a package deal who'd like to take this merchandise off our hands." The ballroom erupted in cruel laughter. Wealthy guests in their designer outfits were enjoying their humiliation as if watching street performers. Emma's eyes filled with tears that threatened to spill over. "Mommy," she whispered, her voice breaking as she looked up at Lily. Lily tried to stand to escape this nightmare, but froze when Helen rose gracefully and took the microphone from Bradley. "Since we're having a clearance sale, I should mention we can start the bidding at $0, Lily's mother announced with a polished laugh. "Defective merchandise should really be marked down, shouldn't it?" Another wave of laughter crashed through the room. Lily's chest constricted with rage and shame. Emma was now openly crying, her small shoulders shaking with each sob. Seeing her daughter's distress finally broke through Lily's shock. "We're leaving, Emma," Lily said softly, squeezing Emma's hand as she began to rise. That's when a clear, authoritative voice cut through the cruel laughter. $100,000. The room fell instantly silent. Every head turned toward the source. Standing at the back of the ballroom was a woman with perfect posture, her silver-streaked dark hair elegantly styled, wearing an impeccably tailored suit. Her piercing eyes radiated calm strength. "I'll pay $100,000 for this woman and her daughter," she repeated firmly. Bradley forced an uncomfortable laugh. "Well, someone has a strange sense of humor." "This is not a joke," the woman stated as she walked deliberately toward the center of the room. "I am Diana Collins, Michael Parker's executive secretary." I gasped. My father's secretary? Though I'd heard her name mentioned occasionally, I'd never met any of my father's business associates. Diana strode to the center of the ballroom and looked directly at Lily and Emma, offering a small, reassuring smile. Then she slowly turned to face Bradley and Helen, her expression hardening into icy contempt. "Shall we continue with this degrading spectacle?" she asked, her quiet voice carrying effortlessly through the silent room. "Or shall we proceed to the moment of truth?" At Diana Collins' words, the grand ballroom fell into stunned silence. The crystal chandeliers cast dramatic shadows across her determined face. The groom, Bradley, stood frozen beside his bride, Sophia, who stared at him with growing suspicion while her parents exchanged alarmed glances. "Before I proceed, I must apologize," Diana turned to face me. "Ms. Lily, Emma, I'm truly sorry for revealing the truth in such a public manner. However, this was precisely what your father, Michael Parker, requested." Lily held Emma protectively against her while her eyes were fixed on Diana with a mixture of shock and bewilderment. Emma had stopped crying, but Lily could feel her small body still trembling against hers. "This is outrageous." Helen's shrill voice shattered the silence. Her perfectly made-up face twisted with fury. "Who do you think you are? My husband never had a personal secretary with such authority. All business matters were handled through proper channels." Diana withdrew an envelope from her blazer pocket with calm precision. "That's technically correct, Helen. However, Michael specifically appointed me to handle his confidential personal affairs, particularly regarding his actual will." "That's absurd," Bradley shouted, his face flushing red. "Father's will was executed years ago. Everything was settled legally." Diana methodically opened the envelope and removed an official-looking document with multiple notary seals. "Yes, the public will was indeed executed, but this is the authentic, legally binding final testament." Michael, anticipating certain complications, strategically prepared 2 separate wills. She held the document aloft and nodded toward the projection screen at the front of the ballroom. The room gasped collectively as the contents appeared on screen. Under the bold heading Michael Parker's final will and testament, detailed provisions were clearly outlined. The document explicitly stated Michael Parker's intention to bequeath 60% of all his assets, complete ownership of all Parker real estate holdings and properties to be equally divided between Lily Parker and his granddaughter Emma Parker. Shocked murmurs rippled through the crowd. Helen and Bradley turned ghostly pale, exchanging panicked glances. Sophia's father gripped his daughter's arm and whispered urgently in her ear. Diana continued with unwavering composure. The remaining 40% is allocated as living security for Helen Parker, though with no voting rights or authority. Complete management control of Parker real estate is transferred immediately to Lily. She produced another document from her portfolio. This contains detailed financial records spanning the past 7 years, including evidence of unauthorized fund transfers orchestrated by Helen and Bradley Parker. The screen now displayed an intricate web of financial transactions and bank records. The stunned crowd watched as Diana methodically explained each damning piece of evidence. In the months before Michael passed away due to heart failure, he had become increasingly worried about his declining health. He confided in me his deepest fear that after his death, Lily and Emma would face cruel treatment from the family, Diana explained, her voice softening with emotion. Tears streamed down Lily's cheeks as the truth washed over her. All this time, her father had been watching over them, planning meticulously to protect them even after he was gone. Her heart ached with love as she recalled the treasured photo of him she carried in her wallet. Michael tasked me with monitoring Helen and Bradley's activities for years, gathering evidence of their misconduct, and revealing everything at precisely the right moment. Diana continued. He admired Lily's independence fiercely. He wanted to see her succeed through her own determination and grit, while simultaneously ensuring that the inheritance that rightfully belonged to her would eventually reach her hands. Helen rose from her seat, her entire body shaking with fury. "This is absolute rubbish. I'm Michael's wife. The law clearly states that I have primary rights to his company shares." "That's incorrect," Diana replied with unshakable composure. "This will has been legally authenticated and already filed with the court. In fact, a judge is present as witness." She gestured toward a serious-looking woman sitting quietly in the corner of the ballroom, who acknowledged with a slight nod. "This is blatant fraud," Bradley bellowed, his face contorted with rage. "We've done absolutely nothing wrong." Diana retrieved a final envelope from her portfolio. "Then perhaps we should hear Michael's own words." She carefully removed a handwritten letter and began to read in a clear, respectful voice. "My dearest Lily and Emma. If you're reading this, it means Diana has carried out my final wishes, and you're likely feeling overwhelmed right now. First, I want to apologize. I'm sorry for keeping the truth from you all these years, but I had my reasons. I needed to confirm what I already knew, that you, Lily, possess the strength and wisdom to raise Emma beautifully. And I needed to expose Helen and Bradley's true characters to everyone who matters. They've been manipulating me for years, misappropriating company assets for their personal gain. As my health failed, they were already scheming to block you from the company completely and eliminate your rightful inheritance. But you, Lily, are my true heir. Your integrity, resilience, and most importantly, your compassion. These qualities matter more in business than any MBA ever could. Emma is growing into an extraordinary young woman. Your love and dedication shine through in everything she does. Parker Real Estate belongs to you, Lily, and someday it will be Emma's. No matter what Helen and Bradley attempt, This will is legally binding and unbreakable. Trust Diana completely. She has been my right hand for 20 years and will protect you both. One last thing, I am so enormously proud of you, Lily and Emma. Know that Grandpa is always watching over you. All my love. Dad. When Diana finished reading, a profound silence settled over the ballroom. Tears flowed freely down Lily's cheeks, leaving trails through her carefully applied makeup. Emma gazed up at Lily with wonder in her eyes. "Mom, did Grandpa really remember me?" she whispered. Lily pulled Emma into a tight embrace, her voice breaking with emotion. "Yes, sweetheart. Grandpa loved you more than anything." Helen and Bradley stood frozen, the color completely drained from their faces. Sophia's father leapt to his feet, his voice thundering with indignation. "What kind of scam is this? My daughter nearly married into a family of embezzlers." Sophia stared at Bradley, her expression transforming from confusion to disgust as the truth sank in. Her eyes reflected the pain of betrayal mixed with cold fury. Diana approached Lily's table and spoke softly. "Ms. Lily, Emma, we should leave now. All the legal processes have already been initiated. There's much more I need to explain to you both." Lily stood with newfound strength and took Emma's hand firmly in hers. As she surveyed the opulent ballroom one last time, Lily felt a strange detachment. Her mother and brother were simply strangers now. Their power over her completely evaporated. What filled her heart instead was overwhelming gratitude toward her father and fierce determination for the new life that awaited them. Diana's sleek sedan glided away from the Regent Plaza's service entrance. From the passenger seat, Lily watched Chicago's city lights blur past the window while tucking a blanket around Emma, who had fallen into exhausted sleep in the back seat. Her emotions churned like a storm: love for her father, anger and heartbreak over her mother and brother's betrayal, and most of all, the shocking realization that her family's rejection had been built on calculated lies. "You must be exhausted," Diana said gently. "I've arranged rooms at a hotel nearby. The formal legal proceedings will begin tomorrow, so you should try to get some rest tonight." I inhaled deeply before asking the question that had been burning inside me. Why didn't my father tell me anything? Why keep all this secret for so long? Diana considered carefully before answering. "Michael was trying to protect you. He had uncovered Helen and Bradley's financial schemes years ago, but chose not to confront them directly. When his health began failing, he anticipated exactly how they would behave. As for the timing," Diana continued, her eyes steady on the road ahead, "Michael had a specific strategy. He wanted you to prove your independence, to stand firmly on your own feet. Meanwhile, he was patiently collecting evidence as Helen and Bradley continued their financial misconduct. He knew you were raising Emma beautifully, and he recognized you possessed all the qualities needed to lead the company successfully." Lily wiped away fresh tears. Her heart was overflowing with emotions. "I never imagined he had such faith in me." "He never doubted you for a moment," Diana replied with warmth. "He often told me, Lily has extraordinary strength. No matter what obstacles she faces, she always rises." The following morning, Lily and Emma visited Diana's office downtown. The sleek, modern space was already filled with neatly organized legal paperwork, court orders, temporary restraining orders, and asset freeze documentation. Diana had meticulously prepared for everything. "Michael's authentic will has already been filed with the court and fully validated," she explained, her efficiency impressive. "The judge who attended the wedding has signed all necessary orders." Helen and Bradley's assets are completely frozen, and every unauthorized financial transaction they conducted has been legally invalidated. What comes next? Lily asked, feeling overwhelmed by it all. Emma was in the adjoining room, where Diana's assistant was showing her a collection of science books. First, complete control of Parker Real Estate will be transferred to you immediately. All company accounts will be placed under your sole authority. We'll initiate proceedings to recover every dollar that Helen and Bradley misappropriated from the company. Lily buried her face in her hands, suddenly struck by the magnitude of what was happening. How can I possibly run such a massive company? I'm a cleaning lady, not a CEO. Diana smiled knowingly. You graduated high school with honors, didn't you? Michael knew everything about you. He was well aware of your natural intelligence and work ethic. As for practical experience, the company already has an excellent team in place. And I'll be there to guide you through every step. Michael planned for this transition in meticulous detail. In the weeks that followed, Lily's life transformed completely. Legal proceedings moved swiftly, with Diana's carefully gathered evidence proving irrefutable. Helen and Bradley lost access to all their assets and were court-ordered to repay every cent they had diverted from the company coffers. Sophia immediately broke off the engagement, and Bradley vanished from Chicago's social circles. Helen followed suit, both forced to relocate to a modest apartment outside the city and live in anonymous obscurity. Emma transferred to a prestigious private school. Lily began commuting to the company headquarters daily, assuming her new role as CEO of Parker Real Estate. Though the transition created initial turbulence, her methodical approach and attention to detail skills honed through years of cleaning work gradually earned respect from the executive team. You're definitely Michael's daughter, remarked one senior executive who had worked with her father for decades. You've inherited his sharp business instincts and genuine compassion for others. Lily acknowledged the compliment with a quiet smile, feeling her confidence grow daily. Several months into her leadership of the company, Lily invited Diana to dinner at her new home. Their relationship had evolved beyond professional boundaries. They now discussed personal matters alongside business concerns. There's something else you haven't shared with me, isn't there? Lily asked while pouring them each a glass of wine. Emma had already gone to bed after an exciting day working on her science fair project. Diana considered her question carefully. Michael first approached me nearly a decade ago. By then, he had already begun to question Helen and Bradley's financial activities. He orchestrated all of this to protect me? Yes, he was determined to secure your and Emma's future, Diana replied softly. Before he died, he made me promise one thing above all else, to watch over Lily and Emma. Lily smiled with genuine warmth. You've certainly honored that promise. From that moment forward, Lily's life blossomed with a new purpose. She unveiled a fresh vision for Parker Real Estate, focusing on sustainable housing developments and specialized residential projects for single-parent families. I intend to honor my father's legacy by steering this company in a bold new direction, Lily announced confidently at her first board meeting. We will transform Parker Real Estate into a business that actively improves lives and strengthens communities. Her proposal received unanimous support. I also established the Michael Parker Foundation, dedicated specifically to empowering single parents. Emma became the foundation's young ambassador, eagerly participating in community events and fundraisers. Mom, I want to help struggling families too, just like Grandpa did, Emma declared one evening after a foundation event. Lily wrapped my arms around Emma, her heart swelling with pride. You absolutely will, sweetheart. Lily's relationship with Diana evolved beyond professional boundaries. She became not just a trusted advisor but a true friend to Lily and a meaningful presence in Emma's life. Diana began taking Emma to science competitions on weekends and introducing her to successful women in STEM fields who could inspire her growing interest in science. On Lily's first day occupying her father's executive office, Lily lifted his framed photograph from the desk and whispered to it, "Thank you, Dad. I won't let you down." Beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, spring sunshine bathed Chicago's skyline in golden light. In a cramped apartment on Chicago's outskirts, Helen stood at the window, staring blankly at the rain-drenched parking lot below. Her appearance, once defined by designer clothing and perfect styling, had faded dramatically, replaced by discount store basics. In the small living area, Bradley hunched over his laptop. He now worked as an entry-level clerk at a struggling real estate agency. His engagement to Sophia had been publicly broken, and every door in Chicago's high society had firmly closed against him. "Do you want some coffee?" Bradley asked, glancing up from his screen. The arrogance that once defined his demeanor had been replaced by a subdued resignation. "Tea would be fine," Helen replied with a heavy sigh. 2 years had passed. Their lives had undergone a complete reversal from their luxurious lakeside mansion to this basic 2-bedroom apartment, from chauffeur-driven cars to public buses. For the first time in their privileged lives, they were forced to earn their own living. Unlike the traditional ending, Lily never invited them to her office. She never arranged a tearful reconciliation. The plate on my office door reading Parker Real Estate, President Lily Parker, represented a complete break from her past. When she'd finally settled into her new role, she made the decision that truly cemented her independence. She sent formal notification through Diana that she would maintain no contact with Helen or Bradley. "Why do you not want to meet with them?" Diana had asked, without judgment. "Some bridges should remain burned," Lily replied with calm certainty. "Emma deserves better role models than people who saw her as merchandise to be discarded." Diana nodded with understanding. "Your father would respect your decision." In time, Lily's leadership style earned respect throughout the industry. Sales executives who had initially doubted the cleaning lady CEO now sought her approval on major deals. Lily's first-hand experience with housing insecurity sparked new developments, creating truly livable spaces that garnered industry awards. Emma thrived in her new school, winning the regional science fair with an innovative water filtration system. Lily watched her confidence grow daily, free from the shadow of the family who couldn't appreciate her brilliance. Some evenings, when Lily and Emma enjoyed dinner on their new home's terrace overlooking the city, Lily would think about how far they'd come. "Mom, do you think Grandpa would be proud of us?" Emma asked one such evening. Lily smiled, watching the sunset paint Chicago's skyline in vibrant hues. "I don't think about it, sweetheart. I know it." "You are undoubtedly Michael's daughter," remarked a senior executive who had worked with Lily's father for decades. "You've inherited his sharp business instincts and genuine compassion for others." Lily acknowledged the compliment with a quiet smile, feeling her confidence grow daily. That Christmas, their new home glowed with warmth and genuine joy. Around their beautifully decorated tree gathered Emma's science club friends, trusted colleagues from Parker Real Estate, and Diana, who had become like family to them. To new beginnings, Diana raised her glass, and creating your own destiny. Lily smiled at her, appreciating how their relationship had evolved from professional to something deeper and more meaningful. By the frost-covered window, Emma held her grandfather's photograph, studying his kind eyes. "Mom, I wish I could have really known Grandpa. He must have been amazing, right?" Lily wrapped her arms around her brilliant daughter. "He was remarkable, sweetheart. And I see so much of him in you, your curiosity, your kindness, your determination." Outside, snow fell silently over Chicago,